Welcome back to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. The city of Milwaukee has a long and rich tradition of people coming together and forming organizations to solve problems and enrich the community. Artists Working in Education is one of those organizations, and here to tell us more about what they do is John Kowalczyk, and he works as a program director along with Raina J. She's the Donor Stewardship and Storytelling Manager. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Thank you both for being here this morning. And Artists Working in Education, you believe that the arts are an essential part of our humanity. So tell us more about the work that you do and how you really make a difference in the lives of young people.
Sure. So at Artists Working in Education, we believe in empowering young people through arts enrichment programs that will hopefully treat them well for the rest of their life and enhance their creativity and the way they view their neighborhood and the way they view their community and themselves, hopefully.
Yeah, and you guys have been in the community, if I'm correct, a decade now?
Yeah, actually, next year we're celebrating our 20th anniversary.
Oh, wow. So
yeah, we've been
2 decades.
Yeah.
Wow. So you've won the Governor's Award for Excellence, and you found a way to provide youth the opportunity to create public art that addresses social injustices that they feel is a social injustice. So I'm interested in knowing what are some of the issues that they feel are social injustice.
So one of the most important parts of our program is that the young people's voice is the voice that's being heard. Mm-hmm. And recently, they come up with all the topics, so they brainstorm with the artists, they have conversations, they do workshops to kind of create a plan and a message for their public piece of art. And it's a lot of issues of telling their story, or we had a beautiful project happen earlier this year about all the gun violence in Milwaukee. And it was kind of a memorial sculpture garden for all the gun violence victims. Wow. So reducing violence, taking pride in their communities, sharing their story with the community are pretty common themes we hear from our young people.
Yeah, so the gun violence, of course, is a huge deal to everyone living in our community. Anything else that they've pretty much focused on specifically over the summer months that they consider an issue, especially among young people?
I would say we had a wonderful project about the Underground Railroad.
Oh, wow.
And that happened in Johnson's Park, which was part of the Underground Railroad. And the students were just really interested in sharing that story and learning about it themselves as well.
Yeah.
So that was a really neat process. We've done projects in the past about joyriding and stolen cars. So Stop the Stolies was one of our projects. And that was the young people deciding, like, look, we don't want to be making decisions like this anymore. We want to be better. We want the community to know that we're better. And
yeah, and it all goes right back to the name of your organization, Artists Working in Education, because you talk about the Underground Railroad and people learning that it had its way through this particular park, and I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So it's like you learn something new every day, and they're able to take this, like you said, into their everyday lives, and maybe even to the classroom when they go back to school.
Absolutely.
To discuss it as well. Love that. In your opinion, how important is art when it comes to young people being able to express themselves, Raina?
I think it's very important for youth to have the opportunity to do art projects, because a lot of times, like John said, our young people aren't heard, or they don't feel heard or included in decisions that government or their parents or other adults in their lives make. And so art is a way that they can express themselves and feel like they're heard. And also, when you're dealing with students or young people who might have special needs, they're on the autism spectrum as well, art can just be a really transformative way for them to voice how they feel.
Yeah, and you feel the same? Or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As an artist myself, I was really fortunate to have great art programs and things growing up, and it's really taken me to where I am today.
And being able to work with other young people and kind of give them what you learned and encourage and motivate them at the same
Absolutely.
time. Good stuff. Raina, you work as the Donor Stewardship and Storytelling Manager.
Yes.
So I'm interested in knowing what does that mean? What does that entail?
So my job really entails kind of building out our donor base and really engaging millennials and young people into this threshold of art and creativity, really kind of creating a pathway forward for more young people to find careers in art and just really be able to express themselves. And then the other part of my job sort of is the storytelling manager, which means I just go out and I check out our programs. I talk to families, talk to youth. I interview a lot of artists as well, just to get their perspective on various projects that they're working on, and then tell that story to the media, because a lot of times our story is not heard. That the creative community in Milwaukee is robust, and there's a lot of great opportunities. So my job is to really make sure those stories get in front of people, and I'm just really glad that we were able to talk today.
Absolutely. It's like I really am intrigued with all of the organizations that exist in our city, and a lot of times you don't hear about them until maybe a grant happens or something of that nature, but it's important to have you here and let our viewers know what you do and maybe how they can get their young people involved as well. I mentioned, John, that you work as a program director. So what's a regular day like for you at Artists Working in Education?
So one of the exciting things about being a program director for Artists Working in Education is there is no regular days. Every day
I can
is
imagine.
totally different.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite ways to describe a public art project to somebody is, like, if you think of an iceberg in the water, there's a little tip of the iceberg kind of popping out at the top. And that's like the mural or the sculpture or the piece of public art that we all see. But everything underneath the water is all of the coordination and the planning and all the moving pieces fitting together for that mural to happen. So my day is meeting with all the youth groups, meeting with all the people from the city, getting the proper permits in place, gathering all the supplies, hiring the artists, and kind of lining it all up so that we see that beautiful mural at the tip of our iceberg.
Okay, and so really just the things that you're telling us today is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you've got a number of programs that are actually in place for young people of all ages. I think, do you start at age 4?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And you go all the way up to what age?
18 to 21,
Okay,
depending on some of the high schools we're working in.
That's amazing. So you've got this thing called Truck Studio.
Yes.
So I'm interested in hearing more about that.
Well, we just wrapped up 6 weeks of free summer programming with our Truck Studio. So every summer, for the last 19 summers, we've been out at Milwaukee County Parks. This year we were at 18 different sites, and we hire artists, college level interns and also high school level interns, and they go out and they create sort of just various art projects every day. It's Monday through Friday from noon until 3.
Okay.
And we have a schedule that we print out, and the artists really show up where the youth are to give the youth an opportunity to create an art project that they can take home with them and then show their parents or their caretakers about this work that they did on a school day or a non-school day in the afternoon.
Yeah, so you've spent most of the summer doing that, and so summer is almost over, boo-hoo, like seriously boo-hoo. But you guys will continue with different types of programming through the rest of the year.
Yes.
Yeah, so what's next?
So absolutely, we do our Truck Studio program, goes to Milwaukee Public Libraries after school hours when school is in session. And then we also do artist in resident programs during the school day at different schools and with different CLC centers after school hours. And then one big project we're looking forward to next year, this fall, is we are partnering with the new library on Mitchell Street.
Okay.
They received a grant from the National Endowment for the Arts. It's an Our Town grant. And we will be providing artist in resident programming throughout the whole next year at that library. So bringing in artists, activating the community, activating the space, creating public artwork around the outside of the artwork or library, as well as fun art activities inside the library for everybody.
So, and you said that next year is going to mark your 20th anniversary, so it's going to be a huge year. Yeah, absolutely. And one thing, I became familiar with you all from this big project, a beautification project that you did right there on Valete, which is where you're located. You guys have young people create artwork, or I should say works of art, on boarded up buildings. And so where exactly are you located?
So our offices are located at 43rd and Valete, right across from Washington Park. And this property is at 39th and Valete, so a few blocks from our office. And we had the opportunity to work with the wonderful young people from Our Next Generation. They're one of our best partners, and they're located right on Lisbon, so very close to the building where the students' artwork was installed. And they designed and painted all of the art for the building. We had a big, awesome ribbon cutting where the mayor got to come. All the kids were there, got to meet the mayor, got to be on TV. They loved it. It was awesome.
And did I see the district attorney there as well?
Yeah,
John Chisholm was there.
Attorney was there. A lot of other city partners from the Department of City Development and Neighborhood Services were there as well.
And I would imagine that all of these people are there because they realize the importance of young people caring about the areas and where they live or work or play, and it's so important to really use their talent to help make things beautiful. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about. You guys are always looking for volunteers to help out.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. So what does someone do if, in fact, they want to get their child involved? Are there certain steps or stipulations they have to follow?
Not really. I think if someone wants to get their child involved, just give us a call and we can point them in the right direction. If they want to follow the truck to our Milwaukee Public Library sites, they can do that. And also, we partner with several Milwaukee Public Schools, so they can find out if their child's school is a school that we partner with in a CLC program.
Okay, and I'm assuming they can find out all of that on your website. So what's the address?
It's www.awe-inc.org.
All right, good stuff. And before we wrap up, just wanted to quickly ask you about your partnership with Milwaukee County Parks and Milwaukee Recreation this past summer. That was definitely a success.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
Yeah, I would say our partnership with Milwaukee County Parks has been going on, like I said, for 19 years. And they're great public partners with Milwaukee Recreation as well, to really activate our spaces and to really just get the word out about our programs. And it's a mutually beneficial relationship to have these great green spaces that we have in Milwaukee County. We're really fortunate to have all the parks that we do, and just to be able to have our truck studio set up there really makes a difference for reducing potential crimes that could happen throughout the day at the parks. And just having our truck studio there and our artists there really makes a difference for the youth.
Yeah, well, you guys are really making a difference in the community, and I thank you both for stopping by and telling us more about it. John Kowalczyk is the program director, and Raina Johnson, she's the donor stewardship and storytelling manager for Artists Working in Education Incorporated. For more information on their programs and services, visit their website at awe-inc.org or call 414-933-3877. That is going to do it for today's show. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. As always, thank you for watching, and I do hope you join us again next week as we take another look at Our Issues Milwaukee. Have a great day.